Once upon a time, not long ago, 3-star ratings on a book used to actually mean that they were a good book. You know, nothing like amazing, life-altering brain chemistry completely has changed, but you know, an enjoyable, solid, well-thought-out book. Nowadays, 3-star reviews are starting to feel a little more negative. It kind of feels like you're all of a sudden dragging the book through the mud just because you're giving it a 3 stars. So what exactly happened in the course of the time frame when 3-star ratings used to be considered good to now that they're basically, you are defaming the complete author's character and basically saying the book is trash? Hi bestie, welcome back to my channel where you're certainly gonna get hooked on books. If you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Andres. I'm obviously a bookish content creator. If you like all things bookish, whether that's just reviews, TBRs, video essays about bookish hot takes, and lovely little reading vlogs, why not hit the subscribe button? It helps me out a lot, and I really like to be introduced to other like-minded individuals like yourselves. Today's video, we're gonna dive into the topic of, are 3-star ratings in the bookish community considered the new 1-star? I'm so confused, y'all. You know, traditionally the 5-star rating system was pretty self-explanatory, making like 5-star the absolute best, 4-star pretty above average, 3-star good/average, 2 a little below average, not the best, and then 1-star absolutely, you know, it was not good. A 3-star rating on a book was never intended for it to be, you know, like an insult. It was more intended like, you know, this book was good, but it wasn't perfect. And honestly, there's a lot of books that fall into that category because, you know, they are good books. It's just, you know, they didn't have like a wow factor, or they weren't completely life-changing, or my brain chemistry wasn't altered because of this book. A 3-star rating used to mean something good, like the book was good, it was average, and many people never took it as an offensive thing. But somewhere along the way, it became an offensive thing. It became like a new 1-star rating. There's times where you'll post a review where you rated a book 3 stars, and the first comment sometimes is, oh, so you didn't like the book. And it's like, no, I did not say I didn't like the book. I said that I liked it, but it wasn't the most perfect book and it didn't leave me gobsmacked. And just because of that, people think that I didn't like a book, and that's not true. But let me tell you that honestly, what I realized has changed that trajectory of the 5-star rating system is BookTok, BookTube, these social media platforms where we do our ratings like Fable, Storygraph, Goodreads. You know, all of these platforms have really hindered, I want to say, these ratings, and they've become super polarized. Basically, everything is either 5 stars, absolutely amazing, this changed me, I need you to read it right now, or 1 star, this sucked, don't you dare read it. With this complete either or of either 5-star or 1-star, it's like it gives us no room for any middle ground. And not every book is gonna be perfect, and not every book is gonna suck. So social media is the prime driver as to why 3-star ratings are becoming the new 1-star rating. So there are a few things that I've discovered throughout my research trying to conjure up my thoughts and feelings for this video essay. And there's 4 primary things that I thought about that are really affecting the bookish community when it comes to 3-star ratings. One of them is overhype culture, which kind of ties into what I just said before. BookTok and Bookstagram are one of the #1 social medias where bookish content creators are at and are expressing and sharing their reviews about books that they've read. And there's a lot of overhype on popular books. So I'm pretty sure you know that there's been plenty of books that have taken the internet by storm, and literally everyone is talking about the book. You scroll on TikTok, once you see that book. You scroll twice, you see the same book. You scroll the 3rd time, it's the same book. And it's because of that overhype situation that's been going on that So many people are like, oh my God, I love it. 5 stars. You have to read this. You have to read this. But they're not really giving thorough reviews and thoughts and feelings about the book, or describing the literary devices that the authors use to help the novel become that 5-star read. A lot of times it's just for the vibes, which is perfectly fine because I do the same thing at times. There's so much overhype on books sometimes where you go into the book thinking like, oh my God, if this person liked it, I'm sure I'm gonna like it. And then you're reading it and it's not really hitting as you were expecting. And that's where it goes from 5 stars to 1 star. Even if you think that the book was good, or you felt like there was good things that worked in the book, just because of that overhype culture that's happening on social media is not allowing you to actually digest and dissect the book thoroughly to understand, okay, this was maybe not a 1-star read. This was perhaps a 3-star, or maybe even a 4-star, or perhaps maybe a 2-star, because there was too many things that I didn't like, but it was still good in X, Y, and Z. Another thing that I found throughout my research is there's a lot of people that have personal attachment to books, which is perfectly understandable because I have plenty of personal attachments to plenty of books. I've noticed that people don't just like or love these books. They personally identify with them, especially when there's characters that you can relate to in the book and you feel a personal connection to. That's how you create that connection, that personal attachment to that book. So when you go online and you rate a book lower than what the other person that personally identifies with the book did, they're going to take it personal. They're going to be like, oh, you are judging me and degrading my character because you didn't like this book that I thought was 5 stars and I relate to so much. And that shouldn't be the case, because it all ties into reading is subjective. People are going to identify with certain characters, with certain themes, certain plot lines throughout certain books, but not everyone is going to relate to the same things that you do. Now, another very hot topic that I have discovered throughout my research is like the algorithm / like content culture. Like, I'm not really sure how to like classify it, but I have noticed that whenever I post content online, whether it's on YouTube, on Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case is, I've noticed that those extreme clickbaity things are what helps drive more traction to my posts. And you're probably like, Andres, duh, that's exactly how social media works. And yes, I agree with you. I fully agree with you. And I obviously do my hardest to also get those clickbaity titles and try to center certain content around popular books or a certain tagline that will grab the attention quickly, because another thing is very short attention spans that are being created throughout the youth of this newer generation because of so much doom scrolling, but that's another topic for another day. These extreme opinions are what's getting the most attention on social media. Like, you could post a TikTok with the actual like caption on screen saying, "This book ruined my life," with the book on the screen, and that is immediately going to get the viewer's attention right from the start. Versus if you post the same video with the same book, but you put, "This book was pretty good," it's not going to get the same traction. I could guarantee you that. So social media has been driving every single person that is consuming this media to react more strongly to bigger reactions. That could be a good thing and that could be a bad thing. Just keep that in mind. And the last little thing that I saw in my research that I was noticing is I feel like there's a rating inflation. And let me explain to you what I mean by that. Let's all be honest here for a second. You can't tell me that you're not rating these books a lot more generously than you actually might, especially when you're making a post or rating it on a public forum, because you know that there's plenty of people that will see that post and literally read you to filth. So obviously, since there's a little bit of an inflation on ratings and people being too generous with their ratings, especially ARC readers, no tea, no shade, but especially ARC readers, I feel like you feel a little bit of a requirement to actually put a more generous rating because you don't want to be blacklisted. You don't want the author to revoke anything, like revoke access from the publishing PR, and all of those things. There's a lot of things that go into it that I see why there's people that would, generously rate a book just because of X, Y, and Z. But we cannot let these publishing companies allow us and scare us with these tactics to force us basically to rate these books higher than what we actually felt. We have to remain honest and true to ourselves. And it doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be dragging the book through the mud. You know, you could just put your honest opinions as to what worked for you and what didn't work for you. Sorry if there was a slight angle change. My battery died and I had to charge the camera, but nonetheless, let's get back into it. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion about certain things within books that you don't like or you don't agree with. And others should not be dragging you for having those opinions, because everyone is going to have a different outlook on certain things in life in general. So we could all be respectful and all have respectful debates within our ratings and within our reviews, within comments on social media, whatever the case is. We don't have to be mean to each other. It makes no sense. There's no purpose in you being mean to others just because they did not like a book that you liked. It's affecting that other person if you think about it, especially mentally, because social media is infecting our brains to a capacity that's unknown at this point, because so many of us are so trapped within this doom scrolling epidemic. I have tried to not let social media consume me like that. I personally got rid of TikTok because that was one of my biggest things. I would get on there and just doom scroll for hours on end sometimes. I would just get stuck in that loophole of nonstop trying to see the next video, the next video, the next video, the next video. Like, it's not good for us. This is not good for us. So I definitely got rid of TikTok because that was one thing. And then with Bookstagram, I've been trying to go through the motions with it, but at the same time, I'm not fully dedicated to it. Like I cannot post every day. I have a 9-to-5 job. I cannot post every day. I can't be interacting with everyone on there every day. It's very hard for me sometimes. Even doing YouTube at points is difficult for me. I've been able to kind of catch my flow and get more into posting weekly, but it's taken a lot of trial and error to figure out the best way for, like, what days for me to film, what days for me to edit, what type of videos for me to actually film, and come up with ideas and things. You know, like, I've come up with a whole schematic and schedule to actually be able to do YouTube on a weekly basis. But that's because I have been doing a social media cleanse. Like, I'm not advocating for you to go get the brick and for you to brick your phone to not use social media. Like, I personally feel like I don't need a brick because I'm able to just put my phone on D&D and put it in another room or put it upside down away from me so I can't see the screen and just focus on the other things that I want to do in life. Social media is rotting our brains, and not in a good way. So anyways, moving along from my rant, I want to talk about like why this is important, why this whole 3-star becoming a 1-star rating dilemma is important, especially to me. I feel like this shift is really messing up with how we are experiencing books ourselves. We're feeling more pressure to rate higher than what we are actually feeling. Honest and nuanced opinions are getting lost in the sauce. Like, no one's finding them on social media. Like, I barely ever see an average to low rating on any social media that I use. It's like rare. And most people, whenever they do have a negative opinion or a lower rating on a book, immediately they have to follow it with, oh, but like, don't cancel me, or like, remember, this is my opinion, like, reading is subjective. Like, I feel like we shouldn't have to be justifying our ratings or our opinions on these books that we are reading. We are all so afraid of this cancel culture for no reason. Like, we cannot let other people's opinions and feelings and thoughts or whatever the case is get in our head and affect us to the point where we have to be justifying every little thing that we say and do on the internet. It's crazy. This does not apply to people that are malicious and rude with the intent of being mean. That is a different story. And I feel like that's self-explanatory. I don't have to get into that. And lastly, like, the good books, you know, the average/good books are feeling like complete and utter failures. There's books on Goodreads and Fable and Storygraph that I see that they have like an average rating of like 3.5 or whatever the case is. And I myself, sometimes I'm like, ooh, that's not like the best rating. But I'm like, wait, no, 3.5. If you think about it on a scale of 1 to 5, it's above 50%. Like, 50% is 2.5, but a 3.5 is above that. Like, I can't do the math right now, like 60 something percent. I don't know. That's still a pretty good book. And also, don't knock it till you try it. It might be a 3.5 average rating, but maybe that's your next 5-star read. and you don't even know it because you don't want to give it a chance just because it has an average rating of 3.5. Come on now. Not every book needs to be an absolute masterpiece to be read and enjoyed. Honestly, for me, a 3-star rating still means and will always mean that the book was good for me. I still enjoyed it thoroughly. Maybe I won't reread it. Maybe it didn't blow my mind, but I'm not mad that I read it. I still had a good time. And honestly, we need to bring this energy back into the bookish community because not everything has to be an extreme, either 5 stars or 1 star. It does not have to be that way. But now, after this whole spiel, I want to hear from you guys. Tell me in the comments, what does a 3-star rating mean to you? Does it mean that it's a bad book, or does it mean that it's an average okay book that you still enjoyed it, but it was nothing crazy? I definitely want to talk more about this topic because I feel like the more that I'm on social media, the more that I see that 3-star ratings are depicted as like a super negative thing, and it shouldn't be like that, guys. It shouldn't be that way. Think about it. It's over 50%. It's over 50%. I think this should go without saying, but disclaimer that the comment section on this channel is a safe space, so please feel free to share your thoughts and your opinions on there, and I will always be respectful of your opinions and your thoughts and feelings. And I would expect everyone else that watches me and interacts on my videos to be the exact same way, please. And if you like this video, make sure to give me a like, subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out a lot, and it brings me to more like-minded individuals like yourselves. And if you made it this far into the video, go ahead and comment 3 stars on the comment section, just so I know who the real ones are that made it all the way to the very end. And with that, bestie, let's get hooked.